Donald Trump's press secretary Caroline Leavitt, whom I refer to as his chief propagandist, had a meltdown on live TV during a chaotic press conference at the White House. When asked about Jeffrey Epstein's connection to Trump and whether Trump was an informant, here how she responded. Let's play the clip.
Mike Johnson came out and said that the president was an FBI informant. Do you know what he meant by that, if it's not true?
I can affirm that is not true. I think the speaker was referring to the fact that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago property for reasons the president has already discussed. John.
That's interesting, especially since Mega Mike Johnson claimed that Donald Trump was FBI confidential informant. Then Caroline Leavitt dismissed the Epstein file as just Democrat desperately trying to connect a hoax to smear Trump. That's why the birthday card with Trump's signature was subpoenaed and produced. Yet now mega supporters are claiming it's a forgery. Come on, Caroline, let's play the clip.
You addressed the crime of Ramos Rica, and the president has done a lot to deliver justice for victims of crimes like that horrific stabbing. And the Epstein files are back in the news because a lot of Americans feel that that Jeffrey Epstein's victims never got justice. Does the president care about these victims? Do you think he can does he want to deliver more justice for them, and is he willing to meet with them?
The president cares about victims of all crimes, and that's why Republicans in the Trump Department of Justice have done more in terms of transparency when it comes to the Epstein case than any prior administration. And why are the Democrats all of a sudden caring about this? It's because they are desperately trying to concoct a hoax to smear the president of the United States. We have seen this time and time again. Ro Khanna and all of these other Democrats, they could have cared about those victims 4 years ago when Joe Biden was in office. They could have pushed for transparency then. Unfortunately, the Democrats are using victims as political pawns to try to smear and to push a hoax against the president of the United States. And I will get you numbers on the amount of child predators that this administration and this FBI and this Department of Justice have locked up under President Trump's leadership. We have done more than any president to protect victims of crime, especially disgusting, heinous sexual crimes. And that includes the deportation of illegal aliens who are perpetrating these crimes against innocent victims in our country right now today. And that remains a top priority for this administration.
Then a reporter asked Caroline Leavitt, okay, you say he had not signature birthday card, but it comes from the Epstein estate. What's your explanation for how a forgery ended up in the file maintained by the Epstein estate? Files that also contain letters from other friends of the Epstein at the time. Let's play the clip.
He didn't sign these. If you said he didn't sign the birthday card, he didn't do this, he also didn't do the check. Those were in documents from the estate. So what is the working theory as to why he's in
The president has one of the most famous signatures in the world, and he has for many, many years. You know that, Maggie, you've covered him for a long time, long before he assumed this office when he was a businessman in New York. The president did not write that letter. He did not sign those documents. He maintains that position, and that position will be argued in court by his lawyers. The president is very confident he is going to win this case.
Here's another hot take for the morning. After further analysis of some of the other pages in the Epstein birthday book, something others have also noticed. I have uncovered more details. It appears that some of the people writing to Epstein include drawing of Mar-a-Lago in the birthday book alongside images depicting the girls allegedly groomed for Epstein messages. I am planning to share another hot take on this soon. Also, one of the other birthday cards in the book referenced Donald Trump paying Epstein $22,000 for a fully depreciated woman. When asked about his Caroline Leavitt responded, one of the documents even show Epstein holding a check from Donald Trump from that amount. Let's play the clip.
Thanks, Caroline. One of the other documents released by the House Oversight Committee contained a photo of Jeffrey Epstein holding an oversized check that was made out to him in the check from the president for $22,000 for a fully depreciated woman. I wondered if the president has any recollection of that, or what you guys make of that photo that was included in those documents.
Did you see the signature on that check? It is not Donald Trump's signature. It is absolutely not. The president did not sign that check.
But does he recognize the woman?
No.
As reported on the network, Caroline Leavitt appeared to be involved in covering up serious allegations related to child sex abuse. It's important to call his out for what it is. The press conference featured some good questions, something I do not always see. One key question was about what Donald Trump meant when he said that if a man fight with a woman, that's not a crime. Is he suggesting that domestic violence is not a criminal? Let's play the clip.
As I said earlier as well.
Okay, thank you. And yesterday, the president spoke about DC crime and talked about how there was virtually none. And then he expressed frustration about things that take place in the home they call crime. He said, you know, they'll do anything they can to find something. If a man has a little fight with the wife, they say this is crime. See, now I can't claim 100%. Exactly what crimes was the president referring to?
He wasn't referring to crimes. That's exactly the point he was making, Mija. What the president is saying is that these crimes will be made up and reported as a crime to undermine the great work that the federal task force is doing to reduce crime in Washington, D.C. And I think the president has every reason to believe that, given the efforts of many reporters in this room who actively seek to undermine the president and what he's doing in our nation's capital. We all know that deep inside, you all agree with this because you all live here, and I'm sure you are very grateful for the administration's efforts to make the city, which we all reside in, much safer for ourselves and our families. Michael.
Caroline Levitt then addressed the absent file, dismissing them as a distraction from the administration achievement over the past 8 months. But what achievement is she referring to? Higher cost of living, weakening alliances abroad, the failure to end the war in the Ukraine, and Ukraine quickly and worsening atrocities in Gaza. Just today, Israel struck a residential area in Doha, Qatar, a Syrian nation. How is this considered a golden age? Jobless claim are at the sum of the highest level in a generation. Anyway, here's what she had to say. Let's play the clip.
What exactly is the hoax? I'm just trying to understand what's fake. What's fake is not the
The
documents.
hoax is the Democrats pretending to care about victims of crime when they do not care about victims of crime, when they have done nothing to solve crimes, when they have done nothing to lock up child pedophiles and child rapists across the country, and when they are now using victims as political props to try and, again, smear the president of the United States and drag on this bad story about him. It is a distraction. The Democrats view this story as nothing more than an attempt to distract from the accomplishments and the achievements of this administration. And that is what we mean when we call it a hoax.
She was then asked whether Donald Trump is at all considered that the soaring prices caused by tariff might lead to a recession or even a Great Depression. Concern many people share. Her response was, no, actually, things are going great. We are beaten all inflation exception. We are doing great. It's a golden age, she said. Let's play the clip.
Now that we have these revised jobs numbers, is the president concerned at all that price spikes, stemming from his tariffs through the end of the year might actually be driving the country towards a depression or a recession? What I'm asking is he committed to these policies now that we know how faulty the jobs data was?
The president is committed to his policies because his policies are working, Christian. And there have been a lot of people fear-mongering about inflation in this room, but it just has not come to fruition. On a monthly basis, CPI inflation has now come in at or below the market's expectation for 6 consecutive months. Every month that President Trump has been in office, overall inflation has run at a 1.9% average pace in the president's first 6 months in office. I would have told all of you that in January, you would not have believed me, but those are the facts and those are the numbers. And we also see—
Obviously, that's not the case. Currently, Levitt insists that Donald Trump did not write a birthday card and that the signature is not this. She's called it one big hoax. That he was framed by the Wall Street Journal, the Epstein estate, and other also, she claimed, were so clever. They predicted over 20 years ago that Trump would come president. According to her, they planted the cards in Epstein's 50th birthday book. Then, when Trump was publicly praising Epstein, a great guy who likes beautiful women on the younger side, and attending parties with him. The card even mentioned our sacred never age and enigma, which she say was all part of the plot. Anyway, Here's play the clip.
About the Epstein case, would the White House support a professional handwriting expert review of the document released yesterday to prove that it's not the president's signature?
Sure, we would support that. And in fact, I have already seen many forensic analysts of signatures coming out. I believe it was the Daily Signal that published a piece with 3 separate signature analysts who said that this absolutely was not the president's authentic signature. And we have maintained that position all along. The president did not write this letter. He did not sign this letter. And that's why the president's external legal team is aggressively pursuing litigation against the Wall Street Journal, and they will continue to.
Then Caroline Levitt reads a statement about Israel bombing in Qatar. She says, "We believe that bombing Qatar is never a good thing. Attacking Syrian nation is unacceptable. But targeting Hamas is justified." She adds that Qatar was informed before the strike. When pressed about the strike hitting a residential area, she responded, "It's a very regrettable that the strike occurred in a residential neighborhood where civilians live." Let's play the clip.
Well, I have a statement to read for all of you with respect to the Israeli strike in Doha, and here it is. This morning, the Trump administration was notified by the United States military that as Israel was attacking Hamas, which very unfortunately was located in a section of Doha, the capital of Qatar. Unilaterally bombing inside Qatar, a sovereign nation and close ally of the United States that is working very hard and bravely taking risks with us to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals. However, eliminating Hamas, who have profited off the misery of those living in Gaza, is a worthy goal. President Trump immediately directed Special Envoy Witkoff to inform the Qataris of the impending attack, which he did. The president views Qatar as a strong ally and friend of the United States and feels very badly about the location of this attack.
The Trump administration is making everything far less safe and stable, tossing the rules-based international order out the window. Trump even posts ISIS-style death videos bragging about killing 11 Venezuelans. He claimed war on the drug boat. It looked more like a fishing boat, certainly not equipped to reach the USA. If you say those people were involved in human trafficking, how you can be sure innocent lives were not lost? Yet Trump disregards all of that. At the same time, Caroline Levitt claimed, "We will use our economic and military might to protect free speech around the world." Meanwhile, they are some of the biggest suppressors for free speech out there. Let's play the clip.
I can tell you this is a priority for the administration, and the president is unafraid to use the economic might, the military might of the United States of America to protect free speech around the world.
I can tell you this is a priority for the administration, and the president is unafraid to use the economic and the military might of the United States to protect free speech around the world. When asked whether Donald Trump will ever meet the absent victim, she essentially says no. Let's play the clip.
On tariffs?
Thanks, Caroline. Follow up on Charlie's question. Will the president meet with the Jeffrey Epstein victims?
I don't have any meetings for you to read out on that.
Caroline,
Go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline.
Then the reporter says, "Okay, but you said the absent documents are a hoax pushed by the Democrats against Trump, and that he did not sign the check or the birthday card attributed to him. So can you explain again? Can you explain, since these documents came from the Epstein estate, what your theory is?" She replied, "I did not say the documents were a hoax. You did. I just showed up a video. You said the signature is not this, that's a Fergie. So you are calling it a hoax." Let's play the clip.
Caroline, thank you. Just I want to follow up on something you said. You said the Epstein documents are a hoax that Democrats are perpetrating against the president. You've said he didn't sign that check, that he didn't sign the birthday card that he allegedly signed. So what is the theory, since these documents came from the Epstein estate? Who is I guess in your view, faking these documents?
I did not say the documents are a hoax. I said the entire narrative surrounding Jeffrey Epstein right now that is absorbing many of the liberal cable channels on television is a hoax that is being perpetuated by opportunistic Democrats like Ro Khanna and the others whom you saw on that press conference outside of Capitol Hill, who are trying to push this hoax against the President of the United States.
You can see they cannot even keep their story straight. She is then asked additional question about the White House response to American worried about being caught up in the ICE raids. Let's play the clip.
After the Supreme Court ruling yesterday on the ICE raids in Los Angeles, some particularly non-white U.S. citizens are saying that they're going to begin carrying their U.S. passports with them at all times. What is the White House's response to Americans who are concerned about being swept up, as others have been already, in these enforcement actions?
They should not be concerned because this administration is focused on the detention and deportation of illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's immigration laws. And the Supreme Court upheld the Trump administration's right to stop individuals in Los Angeles to briefly question them regarding their legal status because the law allows this, and this has been the practice of the federal government for decades. And the Immigration and Nationality Act states that immigration officers can briefly stop an individual to question them about their immigration status if the officer has reasonable suspicion that the individual is illegally present in the United States. And
So you are saying Americans should not be worried about mass IC agent raiding business, factories, and firms, rounding people up based on their skin color? Understandably, many Americans are scared. Speaking of which, she was then asked about the ICE raid on Hyundai factory in Georgia, where South Korean workers he illegally to train American employee on building batteries and other products were targeted. These were exactly the kind of workers we want at these planets. Here, her response. Let's play the clip.
After the immigration raid at the plant in Georgia on Friday, the president said over the weekend that he's open to some kind of changes in perhaps rules or visa rules or law that would prevent something like that happening in the future for skilled workers to train American workers.
That's right.
Can you confirm that and that the administration supports those changes, and what exactly would that look like?
Well, the president said it himself in a statement that he put out on Sunday night, where he is very grateful for foreign companies from around the world and the investments that they are making right here in the United States of America. And he understands that these companies want to bring their highly skilled and trained workers with them, especially when they're creating very niche products like chips, or in this case, in Georgia, like batteries. But the president also expects these foreign companies to hire American workers, and for these foreign workers and American workers to work together to train and to teach one another. And so he expects these foreign companies to hire American labor. We want Americans to have these jobs. We want